Jai Hind to all. My name is Vaishali Deshwal and currently I'm working as an assistant professor at AKGEC Ghaziabad. So today we'll discuss PME and this is the third lecture on this. The code for the subject is KHU 802. So in the last session we have discussed several topics related to the entrepreneurship. We have seen some conceptual models related to entrepreneurship. Today's the outlines are we'll discuss John Cow's conceptual model. So we'll discuss John Cow's conceptual model, then the classification of entrepreneurship on different factors, and lastly is the EDPs programs, EDPs, and they are very important, or you can say indispensable for any country. So these are launched by the government. So we'll see what are the objectives of these different phases in which these programs are being implemented, and what are the challenges in implementing such kind of the programs, entrepreneurship development programs, and last is the schemes. Okay, so first is a John Cow's conceptual model. So he is one of the researcher and he has given this particular conceptual model related to entrepreneurship. According to him, this particular concept of entrepreneurship revolves around four things. First is the person, task, the environment, and the organization. And this is what the conceptual model of entrepreneurship given by John Cowes. So he says that there is a person, or he defined this term as an individual, or it's a very key factor in this entrepreneurial activity. So he is a creative personality and make things happen. And the characteristics are that the distinct personality should have certain skills and the expertise or experience which an entrepreneur should have. Next is the success of entrepreneurial venture. It will depend largely on the characteristics of an entrepreneur, or we can say the personality of him. And the last is the overall success of the new venture, largely the skill, qualities, traits, or the characteristics, determination of an entrepreneur. So this is how we can just define this component. Next is the task. So the task is that an entrepreneur has to perform different or several number of the tasks. First, he has to perceive the opportunity and then bring together the necessary resources in order to implement that idea which he has perceived. So to give the life to an idea, he must bring some of the required resources and provide the environment to it. So it's a role played by the person, or we can say the entrepreneur in an enterprise, and the major task of him is to recognize and to convert the idea to the real thing and exploit the opportunity. Next component is the environment. So the entrepreneur and his organization, they are the indispensable part of the environment, and it involves the availability of the resources, infrastructure, competitive pressure, social values, rules, regulations, and stages of the technology, etc. So environment includes all those things. So you should know that what a task involves, what a person involves, what an environment involves. Next thing is that the environment facilitates the growth of the entrepreneurship, or it may hinder also. Then he draws the person, draws the resources from entrepreneurs, and his output goes again to the environment. So give and take relationship is there. And then the environment consists of several elements. For example, political, socio-cultural, economical, and the number of elements there. Then entrepreneur will keep on acting and reacting to the various environmental changes, and he tries to understand the environment well. Last component given by the John Cow is the organization. So the person builds the organization and his creative work takes place in it. So the organizational context shapes how creativity and entrepreneurship develop within a company. Organization includes its structure, its rules, set of the rules, policies, culture, human resources systems, and all kind of the communication system. So the organization should fit best with the personal vision, and the key task is to be performed with the environmental leadership. Next topic is the classification of the entrepreneurs. So the classification of entrepreneur, we can just categorize entrepreneurs on the different factors. So first factor is the business type, based on the business type, then based on the technology. Third is the ownership, then gender, then enterprise size, and the last is the clearance then-off. So on the basis of business types, we can just categorize the entrepreneurs as a trading entrepreneurs, manufacturing entrepreneurs, and agriculture entrepreneurs. We'll discuss one by one, and then we have uh, the other factor, that is technology, and on the basis of it we can divide technical entrepreneurs and non-technical entrepreneurs. Again, we have a classification of entrepreneurs on the basis of the ownership. First is the private, then state, and then the joint entrepreneurs. Then on the basis of gender, we have two things. First is the men entrepreneurs and then women entrepreneurs. Then again we can have a classification, and which is quite important. These terms, they're also used in many of the schemes launched by Government of India. So the small scale entrepreneurs, medium and large scale entrepreneurs. So it depends on the size of an enterprise, on the basis of which we can just categorize whether an enterprise is a small scale, medium scale, or the large scale. So it totally depends on the size of the entrepreneurs. Now we have this last factor, that is the Clarence Denhoff. So Clarence Denhoff, he categorized the entrepreneurs as the innovating entrepreneurs, imitative, Fabian, and drawn entrepreneurs. Okay, so let's discuss these type of entrepreneurs on the basis of different factors. So the first is the business type, and on this basis we can just have three categories. First one is the trading entrepreneurs. So trading entrepreneurs refers to a person who undertakes business related activities. So these type of entrepreneurs usually buy the finished goods in bulk, okay, not the raw material. They are focusing on the finished goods in bulk from the manufacturer at some discount, and then they sell these products directly with some profit. So this is how the trading entrepreneurs actually works. Instead of buying the raw materials, they directly buy the finished good from the manufacturers and sell it directly. Now, business entrepreneur usually acts as a middleman between the customer and manufacturers. Okay. Next topic is manufacturing entrepreneur. So manufacturing entrepreneur, the founder of a business to manufacture product, is known as manufacturing entrepreneur. It's very simple. Then such entrepreneurs, they analyze the market needs or the customer needs, market size. So they need to analyze the market in order to know the customer needs, size of the market, and then manufacture the product to meet such needs. Instead of just doing it randomly. So the market analysis is quite very important before starting any kind of the business. So this is what we referred as the manufacturing entrepreneurs. Then the last is the agriculture entrepreneurs. So agriculture entrepreneurs who primarily do agriculture work. So a wide range of the agriculture activities are included in this. For example, agriculture produce, irrigation, farming, mechanization, and technology, etc. We can take an example, aquaculture entrepreneur. So aquaculture entrepreneur is one of the example which you can cite under this. Morgan Jean. So Blue Food, aquaculture is there. Then agriculture supply chain entrepreneurs. William T, that is the agro marketplace. So these are some of the real-time examples which you can just write under this head, agriculture entrepreneur. Next factor is the based on technology. So based on technology, the entrepreneurs, they are classified into the several types. First one is the technical entrepreneur. So technical and non-technical entrepreneur we have under this head. Such entrepreneurs, they are called technology entrepreneurs who used to start and continue industry primarily based on the science and tech. So this is the key point here, science and tech. And here they develop the new ideas, turn those ideas into the technology-based innovations. They always work to create the new methods of production. So they're focusing on the new methods of producing something. Next is the non-technical entrepreneurs. So as the name suggests itself, that the entrepreneurs who do not set up and run the enterprises based on science and tech. On the contrary side of the technical entrepreneurs, we have the non-tech entrepreneurs, and definitely we can say that the enterprises which are not based on the science and tech, they are the non-tech entrepreneurs. In short, we can say who work for innovating using some conventional, or you can say the traditional methods. So in non-tech, we focus on the traditional methods. They typically use some exemplary market methods, non-technical delivery strategies to just directly engage with the customers. So this ultimately helps them to survive and grow their business in the competitive manner and meet the customer needs and have a better relationship with them also. Next factor is the ownership. So based on the ownership, we again have three categories under this head. First is the private, second is the state, and third is the joint. So the first one is the private entrepreneur. So when an entrepreneur starts something personal of his or her own, setting up an enterprise, then he or she is known as the private entrepreneurs. It is something which is private. So he is the only person who plays the only role for the business venture and bear the risk and all the uncertainties associated with it. Next is the state entrepreneur. So as the name suggests itself, it's a state entrepreneur. So in this, we should include the role of the state or the government. So when a state or a government does a business, then it is simply referred as a state entrepreneur. In this case, the government is the sole owner of the enterprise, while in the case of the private entrepreneur, the private person or who is running the business is the sole owner of the enterprise. So here the government and the state will be the sole, or you can say the sole owner of the enterprise, and will bear all the profits and the losses and all kind of the he will be responsible, the government will be responsible for all the risk and the uncertainties involved in the state enterprise. Next is a joint entrepreneurs. So joint entrepreneurs are when a business is established and operated jointly by private entrepreneur and the government. So here we need to define the role of both private and the government both. So it is called joint entrepreneurship. And in this, the risk and the profits and uncertainty, they are shared by both the parties. So the first party is the private and the other one is the government. So the percentage depend on the type of business and the agreement between the two parties. Okay. Next is the based on gender. So in this, based on gender, we have men and women entrepreneurs. So the men entrepreneurs means when the business venture is formed, managed and operated by men, it's a men entrepreneurs. And women entrepreneurs, at least if a woman have a minimum 51% share of the capital, the money, then they can also be, such type of the enterprise can be said as the women enterprises, and definitely we can have women entrepreneurs. So where such type of the businesses or the ventures are managed and operated by the women. Next factor is the enterprise size, and these terms, they are very important and they are used in the different schemes launched by Government of India. First one is a small scale, medium scale, and then the last is the larger scale. So in small scale enterprises, we say that if an entrepreneur has invested up maximum of 1 crore rupees in starting, then or including plant and the machinery, then these are the small scale entrepreneurs. In the medium scale entrepreneurs, there is a criteria that is minimum of 1 crore to maximum 5 crores. So this is the criteria on the basis of which we are just categorizing the small scale, medium scale and large scale entrepreneurs. And then large scale entrepreneurs where the investment is more than 5 crore rupees in starting. It includes all kind of the expenses, including the machinery and the plant and setting up of the plants and all those things. So this is the large scale entrepreneurs. Next is the based on Clarence Denoff study. So he has just classified the entrepreneurs in 4 categories. First is the innovative, second is the imitative, and then Fabian, and then we have drawn. So we are discussing based on Clarence Denoff study. So first one is the innovative entrepreneurs, imitative, Fabian, and drawn entrepreneurs. Okay. So let's discuss the first one, that is the innovating entrepreneurs. So innovative entrepreneurs, or you can say the innovators, They are those who come to the market with new ideas or with the innovations, as the name suggests. Okay, in particular, they create new products, find new production methods, and create new markets, and they just um, set a new framework for the business. So they always try to innovate and invest their time in R&D. So the entrepreneurs that are innovative have the capacity to think beyond the box, and they come up with some original concepts to the market. For example, we can take an example of Elon Musk. So in this, we can cite Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink. So Tesla is revolutionized electric vehicle market by making the electric cars appealing to the mass market, although it is not much in the market, but it is quite popular. Next is a SpaceX. So SpaceX, it's a private space travel and reusable rocket, drastically reducing the cost of space mission, an idea by Elon Musk. And then Neuralink. Neuralink is and the Boring company. So they innovate in the neural technology and tunneling technology. Okay. The next entrepreneur category is the imitative entrepreneurs. So imitative entrepreneurs or imitative, okay, these two are the same. So here the other name of such for such type of the entrepreneur is the copycats, and this is because these entrepreneurs, they mainly follow and adopt the innovative entrepreneurs existing successful enterprise, and they have nothing new of their own, and that is the reason why we are saying copycats. So in this, the core fundamentals of the original business models are replicated, and compared to the innovative entrepreneurs, these entrepreneurs, they experience less potential risk. Why? It is very much obvious from the definition itself, because they have nothing new of their own. That's why they have less risk and the uncertainty involved in the business. Next is the example of it, Sam Walton. So Walmart is one of the example. Though not the first to open the discount store, he is not the first one to open this. He improved the business model with a focus on rural areas, the logistic, or you can say the transportation, supply chain management. Okay, so his ability to imitate and enhance the existing retail strategies led to the Walmart, a global retail giant. Next is the Fabian entrepreneurs. So Fabian entrepreneurs are defined as those type of entrepreneurs who generally do not seek to implement changes in their enterprise techniques. So this is very important, that simply you can just define the Fabian entrepreneurs as the person or as entrepreneurs who are not willing to change their enterprise techniques. They are very much stick to their traditional approaches and very careful in applying any approach and cautious in exercising any kind of approach. So they're not making sudden decisions. So they concentrate on establishing the solid basis for their progress, and they place a higher priority on stability and sustainability. Next is that these entrepreneurs, they have following traits or the characteristics. First one is that they stick to the conventional traditional method. Next, work for family owned business. They're very careful in their progress and then display risk aversion. Next is the clear, strict and basic strategy. They stick to the traditional and whatever the conventional method they're using. They concentrate on the solid basis and put higher priority on the stability and the sustainability, rather than being dynamic. For example, IBM. So in IBM, we can take the example of personal computers. So IBM was initially very slow to enter the personal computer market. They waited until the market was well established by a company like Apple before launching the IBM PC. Despite being late, they eventually succeed. So why? The reason was that they leverage their strong brand existing business relationships. So this is also one of the example which you can just write under this head. Next is a drone entrepreneurs. So drone entrepreneurs are defined as that who do not like to adopt any change in their enterprise technique, and there is a slight difference between the drone entrepreneur and the previous one. So they strictly follow their traditional methods, development, marketing, etc. And these entrepreneurs, they experience pride and traditional in using the old ways of doing the business. Okay, so they are quite conventional and they never feel uncomfortable using their outdated manufacturing methods. So they are very strict in comparison to the Fabian one itself. And they this is the difference here, that even willing to accept the likelihood of losing their company, even being when they are having such kind of the feeling to accept the likelihood, then also they are very rigid and they don't want to change, or they want to just stick with their traditional methods. For example, Kodak. So here we have an example of digital photography. So the Kodak was a pioneer in early development of digital photography technique. So they were slow to transition from film to digital photography because they were concerned about this. It's a term involved in this, their film business, and that is cannibalizing. So this resistance to change ultimately led to their decline. But they stick to their old methods or the traditional methods, or you can say outdated manufacturing methods. So in this, you can just cite this example under the drone entrepreneurs. The next topic is EDPs. EDP stands for Entrepreneurship Development Programs. And these programs, they are very important for upskilling any person, or to develop the society in any country. So EDP is the program meant to develop entrepreneurial abilities among the people. The concept of such programs involves equipping a person with the required skills and the knowledge needed for starting and running the enterprise. Here, these development programs, they are focusing on this term only, entrepreneurship, to make people, or to provide the entrepreneurial skills to them, so that they will be able to set up their enterprise and generate revenue and provide the jobs to other people also. So EDP is one of the effective way to develop the entrepreneurs, which can help in accelerating the pace of socio-economic development. And there are certain benefits for this. They can help to balance the regional growths between the rural and urban areas, and the exploitation of the locally available resources. So there are number of the benefits of having such EDPs, and the main challenge in EDPs is in their implementation. So there are some objectives in India. We have such number of the programs, and we have some objectives there are some objectives of the EDPs. So you can have many objectives in this, although you can generalize this also. First is that they help to develop and strengthen their entrepreneurial quality, analyze the business or environment related to small industry. They help to survey the market. So by which one come to know that what are the customer needs, what is the market size, whose product should be made or manufactured. So select the project and product, formulate project, understand the process and the procedure of setting up, know and influence the source of help and the support needed for launching such type of the businesses, acquire the basic management skills, and knows the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur. So all these are the objectives of the EDPs. Next is the need. What is the need of having such kind of the programs? So there can be many factors, or there can be many points which we can write under the need of EDPs. The first one is that it helps to eliminate the poverty and unemployment, balance the regional development and the growth, prevent industrial slums, harnessing locally available resources, diffuses social tension, capital formation, and it also helps to facilitate the overall development programs. Now, the next topic is EDP has certain subtopics in it: challenges, pros and cons. Then we have the phases, that is the pre-training, post-training, and the training part. And then we have some schemes launched by Government of India. For example, so these are the challenges. Then we have some schemes. For example, Stand Up India is there, AIC, that is Atal Incubation Centers, Newgen IEDC, innovation and the entrepreneurship development centers, and then credit line capital subsidies, credit line capital subsidy schemes, credit guarantee fund schemes for MSE. And then these are some of the important questions related to unit 1 on the topics which we have discussed till now, asked in final exams of AKTU 2021 to 22. Then these are the questions which were asked between 2022 to 23 and 23 to 24. So we are left with these topics, and today we have covered one conceptual model given by John Cowes, and then the next topic was the classification of entrepreneurs on the basis of different factors. So we have seen different types of the entrepreneurs based on several factors. So this is it for today, and in the next session we'll discuss the EDP, the challenges, some important schemes under EDPs, and some other concepts.